adventurers. Welcome to Let's Just Go podcast. I'm Kayla, and this week I'm doing a solo episode because who needs Chris? Let's be honest. You're all here for me. That is the most Leo thing I've ever said. This week, I'm talking all about Los Angeles because recently my boyfriend Brian and I took a trip specifically for a concert, but we really just hung out for like 4 days. It was a really good time. I really enjoyed it. For those of you who don't know, I actually used to live in Southern California. I lived in Orange County, not Los Angeles County, but I did go to Los Angeles a lot. This particular trip was like really a bucket list for me. I really, really wanted to go to a concert at the Hollywood Bowl, and Noah Kahan had a second show added. So he sold out his first show, which was on a Friday night, I believe, and had a Thursday night show added. So we got tickets, and it was a phenomenal concert. If you are a concert goer in the way that I am, where like music is your life, I would highly suggest visiting Hollywood Bowl if you can. They do so many cool shows throughout the season. They're getting ready to do like a Barbie movie, like with an orchestra and stuff, which is really cool. I'm like trying to think of all the really cool concerts that they're having or going to have. So just to highlight the venue a little bit for you, it's literally built into the side of the Hollywood Hills. So like there are moving sidewalks and escalators to get you further up the venue because it's a very steep hill. And it's like an amphitheater, essentially. There are 2 sit-down restaurants that you can actually make reservations at ahead of time. So Brian and I dined at one of the restaurants and we shared a ribeye, and it was fantastic. And we actually got to like see the opening. Well, I did to see the opening artist. Like you could see the screens from where we were sitting, which was really cool. I took some very unflattering photos of Brian that I can share on social media so that you can see the view that I had. It was really neat. The seats themselves, honestly, not very comfortable. They're just wooden bleachers, which by the end of the show, I was ready to not be sitting anymore because we were in the very back section. If you're sitting closer, there are like camping chair style seats. They're like box seats. So it's like 4 camping chairs in a little box, which is really cool. Also, it's one of the few venues I know of that lets you bring in your own food. We didn't do that, obviously, because we had our sit-down meal. They also don't have hard alcohol. It's only wine and beer. They do have some, like, wine cocktails that they use, I believe, sake for. That sounds right. Because I had a Paloma, and I don't like tequila. Or Brian had a Paloma. I had, like, a lemonade with whatever wine thing they were using. It was really good. Anyways, so we did Hollywood Bowl. That was like the main reason for our visit. But we also did a bunch of hiking, which was really fun. So we did Bryce Canyon, which was beautiful, stunning. A little more difficult than I was expecting to come down. There's there's a paved path, and then there's like a dirt path with like wooden stairs. And we came down the wooden stair set, and I wish we'd gone up it because coming down it was a lot more difficult. But it was beautiful. Weather was perfect, like not too hot, but also there was a nice breeze. So that was great. And then I had intended for us to do a little hike to go to where Batman, the like original Batman, was filmed in Griffith Park. But we went the wrong way and ended up hiking up to the Hollywood sign, which was great. We had a great time. It was beautiful. Would recommend. But we weren't really like prepared necessarily for it. We just went. We were like, all right, let's keep walking. I don't think that this is where those caves are going to be. I think this might be wrong. And next thing you know, we were at the Hollywood sign. So that was a lot of fun. We also took a day trip to Ventura, which was recommended to us by someone that we met while we were in Los Angeles, and we had a great time. It's a really cute town. It sounds like people in Southern California don't necessarily like Ventura. Like, in the way, if you know Washington, the way that people feel about Tacoma felt like the way that people felt about Ventura, but I thought it was really cute. They've completely blocked off their downtown area, so it's, or like 2 streets of it. So it's, you can only walk, and there's like tons of free parking. So we just found a lot, parked, walked. We actually went to the botanical gardens, not realizing what we were doing. When we got there, and it was the summer solstice, so it was free entry. So we got to see a bunch of beautiful plants, and it's like on this incline, so you can just see the ocean like over the town. It was beautiful. We had probably the best fish and chips I've ever had in my entire life out on a pier at the beach, and they were jalapeno battered fish. The tartar sauce was fantastic. And there's actually a brewery upstairs from the fish and chips place, and they use the beer from upstairs to batter the fish. So it's fantastic. And then we went upstairs and had beer, and the beer was fantastic too. So all in all, I thought Ventura was great. We then went a little further north than Ventura and like found a beach park to go walk around at. And then on the way back, I realized there's actually a national park. The Channel Islands National Park is right there. And I was really sad that I didn't realize it until it was like too late in the day, because we did this the day of the concert. And so we needed to be back by a certain time so we can make sure we got to the concert in time. And I can't wait to go back so that I can see Channel Islands. But like I said, I've been to LA a ton. I have done the touristy stuff. I can tell you the Hollywood Walk of Fame is actually really disgusting. You don't need to go down Hollywood Boulevard. It's very overrated for what it is. It's just like a rundown part of town that has a lot of like touristy shops of like buying t-shirts and getting your phone fixed and stuff like that. And like way overpriced food. And then there's the stars, which, like, if you don't know, celebrities pay for their star on the Walk of Fame. It's not like, it's perceived to be this like super prestigious thing, but it's literally like advertising for celebrities. But that's just my 2 cents on it. There's like a little mall in the area. I will say, if you're a Disney fan, El Capitan is a really cool theater that is owned by Disney. So when we were there, they were playing Inside Out 2, which had just come out when we were there. So if you're interested in like a Disney aspect while you're in LA, I would suggest that. We also went to the Funko store and made our own Funkos with our own little kitties even. So like it's the 2 of us in like one Funko box, and then we each have a little cat. It's very cute. I will put pictures of that on social media too. So we have done touristy things. We also went to In-N-Out because we most recently lived in San Antonio, which had In-N-Out. And then prior to that, we were in Vegas, which had In-N-Out. And I love In-N-Out. I realize not everybody feels this way. For what In-N-Out is, it is so inexpensive. So to give you like some context, you can get a cheeseburger there for like, I think it's $3, maybe $4. And you can get a meal for like 10. Usually when we go, I think our total is usually like 15, maybe $20. And that's for 2 cheeseburgers, animal style fries, and regular fries. And then sometimes we get a milkshake. So like great price. The In-N-Out that we went to, I asked the kid working, I said, is this like the busiest In-N-Out there is? And he was like, I think so. It was packed. It was the closest one to Hollywood. Like it was in Hollywood. I don't know what the cross streets were, but we had In-N-Out. Also, I went to a dispensary, and the price, I mean, I know I talked about this in the San Francisco episode, but the price of cannabis in California is just so much better than it is in Washington, than it is in New Jersey. Like, I was so pleasantly surprised. So that was great. And we had a dispensary really close to where we were staying, which was nice. But just all in all, like, I've realized LA County is not a place I would want to live. It's not a place that I really thoroughly enjoy. Like, I'd rather go to Orange County than LA County. Although Manhattan Beach is in LA County and it's the closest beach to LAX. So if you're flying in and out of LAX and you need to kill a little bit of time, like say your flight is in the afternoon, but you need to be checked out of your hotel by 11 and you've got like a decent enough window, I would highly suggest going to Manhattan Beach. It's such a cute town. There's great food. The beach is wonderful. I love it. We did also go to Venice and check out the Venice canals, which are also, it's also close to LAX. But if I had to pick between Manhattan Beach or Venice Beach, I would pick Manhattan Beach every single time. Venice Beach is very touristy. Manhattan Beach is very local. Like, you're not really seeing tourists. You're mostly just seeing people who live in the area. But we went to Venice Beach. We went to the canals, which is a thing I've never done before. And it's very quaint, but I would never want to live there because you just have tourists walking up and down these canals. And, like, they're literally right next to your front yard. Like, it seems stressful. I don't want that, personally. But it was really cool. I'm glad we got to, like, see it. And it's a thing I get to, like, check off my list that I've done now. But all in all, like, it was a great trip. If you are interested in a trip to LA, I would say go, but just, like, set your expectations in a specific way. Like, people compare LA to New York City, and I don't think that's very fair because New York City is really fucking cool. And LA, like, you have to have a car to get everywhere, which I don't love. Traffic is awful. We were actually staying up in the Hollywood Hills, and it was very stressful to try to, like, park and get up and down the hills because they're, like, two-way traffic, but in a one-way amount of space. So luckily, I didn't have any, like, almost head-on collisions until literally as we were leaving, and I was like, oh, thank God I don't have to go back up here again. But that was, like, really nerve-wracking. So if you're going to rent a car and stay in the Hollywood Hills, keep in mind that driving will be stressful. Also keep in mind that, like, it's the Hollywood Hills, and if you're going to walk anywhere, it will be a steep incline. So, like, we stayed walking distance from the Hollywood Bowl, and that was an intense walk. We also like, went down to Hollywood and then, like, came back, and that was a very steep walk. So just, like, keep those things in mind. It can be intense if you're not, like, expecting it. Also, like, LA is huge. It's a county and a city. It's very expansive. So, like, depending on what you want to do and where you want to go, like, choose wisely because traffic is awful. So, like, it took us about 45 minutes to get out to Ventura, and then it took us over 2 hours to get back. So keep in mind that, like, traffic's not great. You could be sitting for a while. If you have an electric vehicle, make sure it's fully charged. It's just, there's a lot of hustle and bustle and, like, sit around and wait. There's also a lot of stuff in LA that's, like, really overhyped. Like, we went to Trejo's Tacos, which was highly recommended by, like, multiple people, and it was fine. I wouldn't go back. If you're a big fan of Danny Trejo, then by all means, go check it out. I think he's fine. I'm not like a fangirl, you know, like, I've seen him and stuff, and I think he's a fantastic actor, but I'm not like, oh my God, I have to go to this restaurant because this actor owns it. Yeah, it was a good time though. I would say go to Universal while you're there. Obviously, like, I'm biased, but I love Universal. Universal Hollywood, I don't love as much as Universal Orlando, but it's a thing to do while you're there. There's also studio tours. So there's a Warner Brothers tour and there's a Paramount tour. I've never done either, but they both sound like fun. We'd actually talked about doing one. But with it being so close to us moving, like, I didn't really want to spend the money because it's like $50 a person to do those tours. And that just seemed like a pretty decent amount of money when you're needing to move across the country. So all in all, we had a good time. Hollywood Bowl was definitely the highlight. Noah Kahan is fantastic. The next night he brought out Renee Rapp, who is probably one of my favorite artists at the moment. And I was very upset as our plane was landing to go home. We landed, I took my phone out of airplane mode and I saw that she was his special guest and I was so upset. But I will say, for all the people who hate on LAX, it's not a bad airport to be stuck at if you're delayed because it's so big and like you can just like go underground and connect from terminal to terminal. And there's so much to do. Like I've had multiple delayed flights there. We were delayed on that flight. I've had multiple delayed flights there and I've never been bored. So keep that in mind. But all in all, definitely check out LA if you haven't. Go to the beach, venture, see what I did there because of Ventura, venture north or south and like explore because you will probably have a rental car and that'll be a thing you can do. But until next time, let's just go.